Well, a lot of people ask me, what were you doing leading Mayweather into the ring? I say, well, we met at P. Diddy parties and we had a great time together. Then they ask me if I gave Floyd or Diddy any Korean butt action. I just answer, what goes on at a Diddy party stays at the Diddy party.
Yeah, yeah, Justin. You forgot to add no Diddy at the end of that. Yeah, or no homo. So, forgetting about Floyd Mayweather and Pete Diddy and Justin Buttboy. Um, you know, the big fight everyone's getting all excited about and have done for about a year is the Saul Canelo Alvarez vs Terence Bud Crawford fight. And it kind of confuses me why people are getting so excited. First of all, apparently Turki Al Sheikh, who we all know got the purse strings of boxing in his hands, wants this fight. He's signed Canelo. He signed Canelo for, I think, a 4-fight contract, which is big news. He's, one of the biggest names in boxing. Is he the biggest? Certainly in Mexico and the United States. I don't think he's as globally well known as people think. Canelo. One of the things is he's not that charismatic. He's not that charismatic. There's no good quotes from him. He pretty much toes the line. His English, he can speak actually decent English. He doesn't want to because he don't want to disrespect Mexico. And the thing is, quite a lot of Mexicans, I spoke to them, they don't really like Canelo that much because he's a gringo. Look at him, man. He ain't no Mexican. You got the average squat Mexican, Aztec guy walking around and he sees Canelo saying he's Mexican. He's like, what? Who is this guy? I remember I was in a pub one time and I went in the pub and this is years ago, right? Canelo, I was world champion, but he wasn't a massive name, the massive pound for pound name, but he'd been world champion. And I said, yo, Jose, or whatever his name was, Jose or Carlos probably, And I said, yo, are you from Mexico? I said, yeah, I've been there. I've been to Mexico. I told him where I went to, I went a bunch of places, man. Mexico City, Zipolite. Zipolite is where all the kind of hippie types hang out. There's a long time ago. I don't know what's going on. Guano, there's a lot of greens. There's a lot of hippie type people. Where else did I go? Oaxaca, somewhere else, I can't remember. Mexico City's massive. It's weird, man. I got ripped off by one guy I was real bitter about. Anyway, so, yeah. But, come on, man. So I said to this guy, I said, yo, you like boxing? He goes, hey, I'm American, man. Of course I like boxing. It's a national sport, really, because what other sport are they good at, Mexico? They're rubbish at football, even though they love football. They don't seem to do anything good, do they? They're quite small. At least they are in Mexico. When you go to America, you get big Mexicans, Benavidez, Jesse Benavidez, light heavyweight. Andy Ruiz, obviously, is a huge heavyweight. Before that, Alex Garcia, you remember him, the San Quentin guy? Who decided not to fight George Foreman for $500,000 and then because he wasn't ready, then got knocked out by, I think it was Mike Dixon, some kind of journeyman guy. He faded away. He looked the part, but he just didn't live up to it. So, it's weird, but in Mexico they're pretty short and usually squat. I don't think the diet's that great. Obviously Andy Ruiz is a fat pig as well, but he's just greedy, man. But he's a big lump. And I think there are a couple of other ones. I can't remember exactly their names. But there's a couple of heavyweights that are, based in the United States. Anyway, I said to this Mexican guy, yeah, have you heard of Canelo? He goes, what? What's Canelo? He knew what it meant, cinnamon, right? He said, who's Canelo? I said, Saul Alvarez. I said, he's the up-and-coming star of Mexico. And he says, oh, sorry. I obviously didn't know his boxing that well. And I said, he's, do you know what's weird about him? I said, he's got really white skin, freckles, and ginger hair. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He went, triple B blood. He's like, we don't have those kind of people in Mexico, man. We don't have these people in Mexico, man. And I was like, I said, I swear down. Of course you do. You're talking, you are crazy, man. You are nuts. We don't have these people, man. And I was like, all right then. And I got my whatever, my smartphone out, and I got a picture of Canelo out. And he looked at it, like he looked at it for about, well, it felt like a minute, but it was probably only 5 seconds. And he's like, I can't believe this, man. But yeah, a lot of people, he goes, this guy's a gringo. And the Mexican guy as well that I asked was a kind of, he was obviously a descendant of a conquistador, you know. He was very Spanish looking, you know. There was no Aztec blood in him, if you like, or Incas or whatever the so-called indigenous people are. Indigenous being a misnomer anyway, because, you know, it makes no sense. If humanity started in Africa, and by the way, there's different theories. Many people, especially recently, dispute that, many top scientists. But, you know, let's assume that the humans started in one place and they spread all around the world. I mean, I don't even believe that, you know. The way that all these random, completely, these islands that are huge distances away from anyone that have got humans on everywhere. And it's like, oh, well, that's because, the tectonic plates moves and everything moved and blah, blah, blah. But originally, all the land masses were together. I don't believe that. How do they know that? That's just a theory, you know. In the Bible, it says that God cast all the people out to different areas and made them speak different languages. I mean, I don't know whether you take that literally or whatever, but, you know, indigenous is a misnomer. It's used for political purposes, you know, and it's funny. You can use it if you're a POC or BPOC or whatever they call it, person of color. But if you're white and you say indigenous, you go, oh, there's no such thing as indigenous. So imagine how easy it is to brainwash idiots, normies, blue-pilled numpties. They'll just repeat what they're told, even though it completely contradicts what they've said previously in their last sentence. You know, it's nonsense. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. I love it. But so Canelo was not actually was that liked because he's a gringo. I mean, look at look at him. He ain't no maker. There were some Irish guys who fought for Mexico against the United States, actually, so they would have settled down there. Obviously, there was a conquistador, but there aren't that many ginger Spaniards either. But there was Irish regiments that fought for Mexico against the United States. So there's obviously some blood there, some ginger blood there. And it's a strong gene, man. It'll just suddenly go boom and come out. Anyway, so, you know, but the big... but he still sells Canelo, you know. And there's still loads of Mexicans that like him, you know, because he's representing Mexico. But that's one of the reasons he don't really talk English, even though he can. Because he don't want to seem like he's become a gringo, you know. So, and the big fight that they want, as I said, is against Terence Bud Crawford. And it's just like, well, I don't even know why it's called Bud. Is it because does he like greens? I don't think so. Does he like Budweiser to drink? Isn't that all woke Budweiser? Didn't they go all rainbow? Anyway, I don't know. I'm not going to look. I'm not that excited by it. Then I always say that I can't bother to look. But, you know, I always do because I think you got to know your stuff. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the fun. So, Bud, so I went, what he was from, Omaha, Nebraska. Bud, you know, it's just, obviously it's a greeting to people. Yeah, you're right, Bud. I mean, we even say that in England, you know. Yeah, in Britain and all parts of America. Bud, buddy, you know, it's an Americanism, but we've taken it on. But apparently, allegedly, in Nebraska, it's a nickname given to the eldest son. So I'm guessing that Crawfish, Terence Crawfish, is the eldest son there. So Crawford vs Canelo. And we are allegedly all the normies and casuals. Well, not the normies actually, because, but certainly the casual fans are getting real excited by it. And you get the kind of medium casual fans. I know Kai gets so excited about Golovkin Canelo 3. Okay, guess what? It will be Canelo's going to fight Golovkin for the third time, and he says he's going to knock him out. And I said, come on, man, you don't believe that stuff. It's going to go distance. And Canelo's going to win on points. Come on, man. Why are you excited about this fight? Don't tell me you're going to stay up for it. Yeah, I can't wait. I've got loads of food in. I thought, waste your time. Imagine wasting the time on that. Anyway, so the medium casual. I mean, I didn't even watch it, I don't think. You know, I think I watched the first fight, second fight, and I was like, I'm bored of this. You know what's going to happen. Canelo doesn't really take any risks, really, does he? And he's a lovely boxer, you know. I like his movement. He throws these wide hooks which go around people's guards. He's not that exciting. I mean, I think he was more exciting earlier in his career, but now, especially as he moved up in weight, you know, he doesn't really take risks. He can knock you out. You know, I think he's only got like a 58% knockout ratio, you know. But, you know, okay, when he gets you hurt, he can stop people. He can stop people, but at the light heavyweight, and he's a super middle now. He only went up to light heavyweight, I think, once to fight Bivol, and I was so annoyed I didn't put money on that. I was like, this has got to be a Bivol win, but I thought they'd find a way to rob Bivol, because Bivol ain't got no money, but it's one of those ones where you just couldn't rob. You just couldn't rob the other guy because it was so blatantly clear. Having said that, we've had some bad robberies in boxing, but let's start with Canelo. So, so he's had a lot of fights. He's been pro since he was 15, man, right? 15, which is just insane. I mean, it must be hard being a ginger guy in Mexico, man. The heat, and everyone must stare at you and point of view and go, gringo, gringo. Hey, gringo. Hey, gringo, what you doing here, man? What you doing here, man? Huh? Hablas inglés? Huh? Gringo. But, yes. But it's 66 fights, 62 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. He has... One of the draws was really early on in his career. He was probably like 16 against a guy called Jorge Juarez, who ended up with a record of unbelievably 8 wins and 30 losses and 3 draws. But he must be dining out a bit. Oh, I drew with Canelo. They'd be like, yeah, sure you did, you bum. And you go, yeah, check out on BoxRec, the Spanish version. But I mean, that's pretty mad. That guy must be dining out on that, you know. And there's a bunch of fighters that went on to big things who had early losses. I mean, Marvin Hagler lost to guys a few early on. Bernard Hopkins, Joe Bugner got like KO'd in 1 round, didn't he? In his first fight, you know. There's plenty of guys that can sit. Oh, what's the guy? I mentioned this the other way. David Gay, the Gay Maker. You know, the Gay Maker got knocked out in 1 round by Jim Dwight from Coventry. It was in the amateurs, but, you know, he can dine out on that. In fact, there's been, I even saw it before David Gay was fighting, I can't remember who, Vladimir. There was an article in The Sun about Jim Dwight. He turned pro. I think he only had 1 win and 1 loss. I'm going to have to check that now. Oh, I was almost right. I wasn't completely right. Jim Dwight, yeah, had 3 fights as a pro, 2 wins, no KOs, and 1 loss by being KO'd in the first round. And none of his guys had winning records. I mean, it's weird that. Yeah, he KO'd David Gay, the Gay Maker, you know, in a round. And it was a proper stoppage. He was wobbling all over the shop, Gay. So, you know, you can imagine all these guys, and he's probably fat and bald now, and he sits in the pub, and Hay comes on TV and goes, I knocked him out in a round. They'd be like, yeah, of course you did, you old drunk. He's like, yeah, I did. Look. Yeah, whatever. The good thing about these days, you got YouTube, you go, look at this. They'd be like, what? That ain't you, that's someone else, you're lying. No, I'm Jim Dwight. You get out his credit card, Jim Dwight. Oh, it must be a different Jim Dwight. How can a fat bald guy like you with a pint in his hand knock out David Gay? So look at it. So and it's actually been in the papers as well since. So, yeah, another tangent. So, what was I saying? Canelo, so he had this early draw. And then, you know, he remained unbeaten for a long time. He was only 16, remember? He didn't ship another loss until Floyd Mayweather, in 2013. People go, oh, he was schooled by Mayweather. They always exaggerate. I mean, I thought Canelo, no, he definitely lost, but, you know, I wouldn't be 7 rounds to 5. I wouldn't have disputed. I think I had it 8 rounds to 4, but you know, he was young, Canelo, even then, experienced but young. He also drew Triple G, Gennady Genadovich Golovkin, hence Triple G. It's not very original, but it's better than Daniel Dubam, the Triple D. I'm Triple B, but I'm base boxing basement, and the funds gave me that. I didn't actually make that up. The funds gave me that. And then there's a UD loss to Bivol, and I'm still fuming that I didn't put money on that. And he won by 2 rounds on the cards, Bivol. But yeah, I mean, I think we all saw a very, very solid win there by Bivol. And that's his only fight at light heavyweight, to my knowledge. So, but he's well settled into the super middleweight division. It has been for years. But it's interesting to look, right? So if you look at his last fights, his last 6 fights have all gone the distance. Yeah, his last 5 fights were all unanimous decision wins against Golovkin, John Ryder, Jermel Charlo, Jaime Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. So those guys are legitimate world-class fighters. Well, I don't know, maybe not John Ryder, but he did win the title. I think once he got on the eggs, right, and he joined the egg gym, he suddenly became a completely different fighter. People don't realize how much PEDish, as Otto Bolen would say, how much PEDish can make a difference. Like I said, I'm not going into my Dynamo story anymore, but I was like Superman blood. I was like Superman on that thing, but I got roid rage, and almost I went nuts on someone just because they upset me a little bit, so I got off it, I was like, man, I could have killed that guy. I went crazy. Anyway, yeah. So, and then Caleb Plant, he stopped. That was his last stoppage in 2021, right? And on the 6th of the 11th, 2021, he stopped Caleb Plant, and that was the 11th for the super middleweight titles. So you see what I'm saying? Canelo he doesn't really go for the big stoppage. There's a lot of guys that he's beaten that have been knocked out by other guys. Daniel Jacobs. You got Daniel Jacobs. Was it Martin Pirog? Dimitri Pirog stopped Daniel Jacobs. Callum Smith went the distance. Callum Smith is a solid fighter, but he got battered by Beterbiev. And even Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. went the distance with Canelo. Yeah, he does get KOs against guys who are out of his league, like below his league. Rocky Fielding. I can't believe Rocky Fielding can say he was world champion. Liam Smith, same. Can't believe he can say he was world champion. Amir Khan got absolutely flatlined, But the guys that are good tend to go distance with Canelo. Miguel Cotto, Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, Shane Mosley. Yeah. Even Ryan Rhodes, who's exceptionally chinny, who got knocked out by Lee Blundell. Almost made the distance. He got knocked out in 12. Matthew Hatton, Magic Matthew Hatton, went the distance. Love more and do. I mean, So like I said, despite the fact he can punch, he is safety first, and he's not a pure puncher. And obviously he started off, I don't know what way he started off. I mean, he was 15, so it doesn't really matter. It's so long ago. But I remember him fighting as a light middleweight, right? He started off as a light welter when he was 15. And, he basically, I think he fought at... He started fighting welterweight around 2010 and then moved up to light middleweight. By the time he fought Magic Matthew Hatton, he was just over the welterweight limit, 151 pounds. And Magic Matthew only weighed 149 pounds, but he still went the distance. Magic Matthew Hatton's one of the ugliest people I've seen, by the way. I wonder if he's a bit bitter. He had Camp Bellend Hatton, Ricky's son, so his nephew. And, they were training for like full-time, decent, world-class pros. He never had a job, Camp Bellend Hatton. You know what I'm saying? So he trains all day, and he's still awful. But I still think there's a part of the spitefulness in Matthew Hatton. He's bitter because Ricky got all the adulation. He got the world title. He got the cash money. And I think there's a little spiteful part of him that enjoys the fact that Camp Bellend is so whack, and I don't. He's done a terrible job training him. Okay, you can't polish a turd, You can't polish a turd. They tried to polish the turd that was Campbell and Hatton. They tried to roll him in glitter, and they put Dimitri Bivol defending his world title against Craig Richards as the preliminary fight, the walk-in fight for Campbell and Hatton. And do you remember Adam Smith was like, and the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up as you hear Blue Moon. It's amazing, isn't it, Matthew? Oh, that makes me sick. Oh, I love my tangents, blood. Anyway, so the point is, Canelo is a solid super middle now. Yeah. He's no longer considered pound for pound. He's considered in there, but not the top guy. He can't be considered as a top guy after Bivol schooled him. And he's got to get through William Skull, who's unbeaten in his next fight. William Skull, he's from Cuba. It's funny you get these weird guys with names like William Skull. His full name is William Skull Hierro, Il Indomable. What does that mean? The indomitable one or something. And he's based in Germany, but, I'm going to go... Funnily enough, you look at William Skull's amateur record, they've only got one listed fight. And that was he got stopped in the amateurs. But that's because probably it was in Cuba, and it's very difficult for BoxRec to get the Cuban results. But it's a unification fight. I mean, I'm thinking Canelo points, another 12-rounder, another UD. Then he gets through there, and then after that, he's meant to fight Terence Crawfish. Right? So, and people are getting all excited. Oh, look, two of the pound-for-pound fighters. Terence Crawfish is a good fighter, there's no doubt. Yeah, he's 37 now. Bud is 37, and he's a light middleweight. He's an interim light middleweight champion. Right? He beat Israel Madrimov, a unanimous decision, but it was a decent fight. I actually thought Israel had a chance, and he did. You know, he hasn't fought a lot, Crawford. That was his one fight last year. The year before that, he fought Errol Spence Jr. His face looked, I don't know, it was something weird, like his eyes. He had coming off a bad car crash, and he got stopped in 9. I mean, that's a good result. But it's a good result, 147 pounds. That's his only fight then. His only fight in 2022 was David Avanesian, who's decent at European level, but he's not a top world class fighter. And there was something very dodgy with Crawfish's gloves. There was a lot of talk about, I don't know, some of the padding or was seemed to be taken out or missing or something like that. So. And that was his only fight in 2022. And then he fought Sean Porter, which was his only fight in 2021. And his only fight in 2020 was Kell Brook. And he had 2 fights in 2019. I mean, it's like, so look, since 2020 to 2024, that's 5 years inclusive, if you think about it. 2021, 2 to 3. Yeah, 22, it seems like it's 4 years, but it's not. It's 5 years. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. That's 5 years. I'm just checking it in case I'm being a bit retarded. Moronical. I don't want to be moronical at this time of day, at night or whatever. So, 5 fights in 5 years. And he's 37. And he's fighting at light middleweight. Yeah? And he's only had one fight at light middleweight. Before that, he fought Spencer at welterweight. And this is meant to be the super fight of the century? You're having a bubble. You're having a bubble bath, mate. I mean, the guy's moving up from light middle. And by the way, he's only had one fight at light middle. And he weighed 153. So that's within the limit. Comfortably, but previous to that, he's 146 3/4 against Spence, and now he's moving up to 168. So if you ignore the Madrimov fight, he'd be going to put over 20. You put like 21 pounds on to reach 168. And even if you count the Madrimov fight, right? That's still almost 15 pounds. That's massive. I mean, I know that like Devin Haney puts on 20 pounds with IV drips and that, but this is a move up in weight. And Canelo was very good at making weight. He's obviously tested positive for clenbuterol, which keeps your muscles whilst getting you to lose weight, to lose fat. It's a fat burner, but it keeps the muscle. Yeah, it just seems, I won't go as far as saying mismatch, but come on, man. And I know with PEDs you can do all kinds of things with the weight now, but that's a massive jump for a guy who's only had 5 fights in 5 years, who's 37. Yeah, allegedly they're the same height, 5'8". No, sorry, Canelo's allegedly 5'7.5", and Crawford is 5'8". Crawford, when they stand next to each other, Crawford actually looks about 2 inches taller, but it doesn't matter anyway. Excuse me. The only question is, does he stop Crawfish? And I would suggest no. Even though it's a massive jump up in weight, so you'd think, you'd think he's going to be vulnerable, Crawford, at that weight. And Canelo's got a super chin. He's got a big square head, topped with a ginger mop. And, but he's only been hurt vaguely once by Jose Miguel Cotto. Is it? Cotto's brother? I think I got that right. But, he just dipped a bit, and everyone can get hurt. I mean, come on, man. Even Triple B's be put down. But I mean, even Opataya dipped against David Nika, but Nika's a huge puncher. So, it happens. I mean, Muhammad Ali got flattened by Henry Cooper, who's a cruiserweight with a chinny cruiserweight, let's be clear. I'm just trying to think, has Crawford ever been down? Not to my knowledge. I'm going to check this, bro, because we've got integrity on the Triple B show. We have to know reality and truth. Well, I didn't think he had been, and officially he hasn't, but there seems to be a little bit of controversy. Funnily enough, I looked at AI. Google AI said he was knocked down. But I looked into it, and unless I'm wrong, and I'm too tired, he did get put over, it seemed, by, this is going to be a mouthful, Egid. Even I can't pronounce this, man. This guy must have the hardest to pronounce name in the world. He's from Lithuania. Egidijus Kavaliauskas. That's what I'm doing. Egidijus Kavaliauskas, right? Dropped him. He ended up getting stopped himself in 9 rounds, got dropped himself twice. But there was it looked like he dropped Crawford. The ref didn't count it. He said it was a slip, but he definitely put his hands on the floor. And so, I mean, I don't think Crawford's been officially put down, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty solid chin. You have to at his level, but, his defense is also good. But like I said, he's overrated in my opinion, Crawford. He's very overrated. It's like another one of them ones where they're desperate for an American champion, right? I mean, if you look at the guys he's beaten, Madrimov was close. That's a decent window. I'm not taking it away. Errol Spence had been in a car crash and his eye looked, messed up. Avanesian, not really truly world class. Sean Porter, shot. Kell Brook, a Batman who it was just never that good. Apparently, it's a waste of talent because he just spent his whole time doing ketamine and giving blowjobs to people in the club. Amir Khan. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Amir Khan. I remember. I forgot about Amir Khan. Didn't he quit? That bum. And you know what? So I keep on going on. Jeff Horn, big deal. Julius Ndonga. I mean, none of these guys are that super. Victor Postol was unbeaten, but he didn't set no world alight. Huh? Uriel Chris Gamboa was decent, but he kind of flopped a bit as a pro. Ricky Burns, tough, but not that great. Went the distance with Crawfish at lightweight. And this was, so remember, he'd been moving up. I think that was his first world title. At lightweight. And now he's moving up to super middleweight. And you look at his record. The more you look at his record, the more you're like, this is not that impressive. Why is he considered the pound for pound greatest? It's American bias. That's why. There are no rhetorical questions on the Triple B show. I've said that many times. So, he's had 5 fights in 5 years. He's 37. He hasn't beat that many decent fighters. Madrimov, I'll give him that. But that was close-ish. Spence, like I said, he was damaged goods. Porter, old. Kelbrook, a Batman who does ketamine. Amir Khan, a bum with no chin who quit. I mean, that's sort of it. Jeff Horn, I mean, come on, blood. Like Ricky Burns amazed me. I didn't expect him to ever win a world title, let alone what did he win 2? But Ricky Burns is proved me wrong. But he proved it. He's still got 8 losses in his career, and only 17 KOs out of 45 wins. Like he's not. I don't know what you mean, but he's not like world beater. He did very well with his talent, limited talent, but he didn't really beat anyone who was huge, what was called a genuine world-class bad boy. Roman Martinez, I mean, Michael Katsidis possibly, but, he didn't beat anyone super. But tough guy. But, what, these are Crawfish's best wins? Come on, man. At least Alvarez been in so many top fighters, So many top fighters. And okay, he's got 2 losses and 2 draws, but the people he's beaten, if you put it, Berlanga, Munguia, okay, Munguia doesn't look so good now, he got ironed out by the French guy who couldn't punch. Ryder, he's not great, I guess. Golovkin, people say it's robbery, okay, fair enough. Caleb Plant, decent world-class fighter. Billy Joe Saunders, world-class fighter. Callum Swiss, world-class fighter. Kovalev, world-class. Daniel Jacobs, world-class. Rocky Fielding, no. Chavez Jr., yeah. Liam Smith, no. Amir Khan, yes. Got ironed out. Miguel Cotto, obviously world class. Austin Trout, world class. Shane Mosley, world class. Yeah. Carlos Baldemir, the nonce. Didn't he get nonce up his own daughter, Baldemir? What a scumbag. I'm going to do some videos actually on, it sounds very weird, but on criminals in boxing. And that includes nonces, grapists, people like Bernard Hopkins, who was a prison rapist and a robber. Obviously there's quite a few. Boxing obviously attracts tough working class men. So there's obviously they're more likely to have criminals. But Baldomir got knocked out in 6 rounds. He was world class. And Canelo's resume is leaps and bounds above Crawfish, and his weight is leaps and bounds above Crawfish. So why are people getting excited about this fight? An overrated Crawfish, yeah. I don't know. I've never warmed to him. He seems decent enough, but I don't know, man. He just looking at me. And I like the way he stayed with his fat wife because, maybe he likes big women. Some people do. Some people love what they call them BBWs, big beautiful women, or BBBW, big beautiful black woman, triple BW, big beautiful black woman. But because she was a childhood sweetheart, and yeah, she eats loads of pizzas and whatever. But he what they say, more cushion for the pushing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dark black guys especially like big women. It's known. It's well known. You go to Africa, they like their women big. Believe that. And, Crawford's dark. You get me? When you look at Crawford, man, it's 11:59 p.m. You get me? In the dark, I ain't being no racialist, but you just see eyes and teeth. If you ain't smiling, you just see 2 eyes floating around. You look like an oil slick. You look like an oil slick with eyes, man. But I ain't hating on Crawford. I like the way he doesn't trash talk and all that, but all this nonsense of pound for pound of his. No. Tell me. What has he done to deserve that status? And I've gone through his record. Nothing. So what's going to happen? Well, I'd actually like to see him get knocked out, Crawford getting knocked out by Canelo, because I think it's just ridiculous. I think it's unlikely. Canelo will play safe. It will be a sort of cat and mouse game, Crawford will get on the PDs and get bigger, and they'll have a cat and mouse game. You know, Crawford will win a few rounds, but it would probably 8-4 to Canelo, just through size and strength, man. You know, that's what I think. We'll see if it happens. Peace in the Middle East, guys.